Hi and welcome back to part 3 of the Parsley hair needle felting tutorial. Part 3 we are going to make the ears, and I've just made one here just so you can see what we're aiming for. It's not exactly the same size and shape as the one I previously made, but they never are, so don't worry too much about that. They will always differ slightly. So we have done in part 1, we've done the body, we've got the head, then in part 2 we've created those legs. So now onto the ears. Again, using exactly the same colour carded wool that you have used throughout the whole project. And I just need to say here as well, you can use wool top for this, just make sure you use a nice coarse wool top, makes it a lot easier. You can use a coarse wool top for the whole project, but I really love this carded wool for this. So what you need to do is take a small length of carded wool, so that is approximately, let's have a look, that's about 15 centimetres long. So you need 2 pieces about the same size. So if you've got a thick piece of carded wool, split it in half down the middle so that it's thinned out. Then all you want to do is fold that in half. And then what you can also do is just twizzle those ends just to mat them together. And as you can see, before we've even done anything, we've started to create a shape. So what I would suggest you do is then draw a line with your needle around the ear, because what we're going to do is we're going to fold in those sides around the line to make a really neat edge. And you're aiming for a petal sort of teardroppy shape, so just work around the sides of the ear. You can see how I've created that line already. And then pull in those edges up to the line. You will find that it just stops naturally. Use your needle. You can either use your fingers or you can use your needle to pull in those edges. And can you see how we're bringing that in? We're reducing the size and we're aiming for that really nice, neat shape. So I'm speeding this up now. Obviously, you know, we're doing much of the same for the next few minutes, but the reason we do that outline around the ear to start with is not only does it make it easy to create the shape, but it allows us to pull those edges over so we have a really nice, soft line to the outer side of our ears. It makes all the difference. So what you do is you draw the line and then you pull those sides over. Now, to speed up the process, what I like to do is use a multi-tool, and you'll need either a Hessian mat or a wool mat to do this if you're using this punch tool, because this has got 7 needles in it. So you can take as many needles in and out as you like. I think I've left the 7 needles in this one. But what this does is it just speeds up the process. It makes it super fast, but it also gives a really nice finish. I've got a multi-tool here with 3 needles in as well, which is also a great tool to have. But keep turning and keep felting. You want this ear really nice and firm, and keep bringing in those edges. And if when you've made the first ear, use that as your guide. That is your guide to size, because you want them as equal and as similar in size as possible. Keep turning, keep felting, and the more it's felted, you'll notice it barely hanging on to that felting mat underneath, and that's what you're aiming for. With these ears, they need to be really flat. I've got this little holder here, so if you're worried about pricking your fingers and getting those neat edges, you can use that, but a piece of cardboard works just as well. So fold up a bit of cardboard, pop your ear or whatever it is you're working on inside there. It will protect your fingers and allow you to create shape and really firm and neaten up those edges. It's a great little gadget to have, and you can use it for all sorts of projects. I've seen people using perspex as well, sort of that really thin perspex so you can see through it. I've got to the point now where it's really nicely felted and I just kind of want to create some shape, which is what I'm doing. So I'm shaping, I'm holding on to that end, we're keeping that end loose because that is the part that is going to be attached to the back of the head. So continue to turn and felt, keep comparing it to the other ear, and what you can do as well is you can change the shape. You know, when it's really sort of starting to firm up, you can change that shape with your fingers. Your hands are great tools. Just be careful to keep those fingers apart when you do this, that you're not pricking your fingers. So that's looking really good. I'm really happy with how that is coming on now, and they're pretty much the same. When you put them together, there's very little difference. So pretty happy with that. Few final touches before we add a little bit of detail. And I am going to use some white carded wool for the detail in the ears. I mean, sort of less is more really. And I'm using the carded wool because you can get those really fine wispy details that look sort of barely there. And you can pull them on, pull them off, add a little bit here, and you don't get lines like you do if you're using, say, a wool top for this kind of detail. So I like to use the carded wool. So they don't have to be the same. Don't worry about placement. If you want to add some dark in for highlight, then you can do, feel free to add whatever you like and whatever works for you. I've got a bit of sort of dark Jacob carded wool there. And there you go. A couple of ears there, looking super smart and ready to go on to the back of the head. So stay tuned for the next part, and also don't miss the link for a tutorial at the end of this.